Hello and welcome to my channel. Finally, I think I set this channel up about 2 months ago maybe, and never posted anything other than a few shorts. But I am in the middle of crocheting my second panel for the crochet along, trick or treat crochet along, and I thought I would just do a little bit of a get to know me before I started posting any videos. So if you're interested in anything about me, then just keep watching. So my name's Lisa, and the channel I've created is Threaded Treasures, and this was a name that was selected by my friends. I had a few ideas of names, and I didn't really want my name in it, and I didn't want the word crochet in it, just because I'm thinking of hopefully maybe expanding on the type of fibre arts I do. So with that in mind, this is what was produced. The logo I made myself using Canva, and I just had the best time letting my creative juices flow, and it was fun. So I've written down a few questions as a get to know me. I will just be transparent with this and say that this idea came to me because I am also part of the bookish community, and I do have a book channel. If you're interested, I will leave it linked down below. If you're interested in more reading vlogs and those types of things, then I will leave that link down below. But I also watch Rachel from the Faded Wildflower Crochet. God, that's hard to say. And she did a crochet creator tag a few weeks ago now, or months ago. And some of the questions I've pulled from her tag. So this is not an original idea in any way, shape or form. So the first question is, when did you start crocheting? So I'm now 37 and I only started crocheting and dabbling in it last year in 2024. And it was because my friend Siobhan has been a crocheter for a while, and they made me various little crochet items, and I thought they were absolutely adorable. They made me a little ghostie and a bat, and then they made me a Christmas present, and it was like a strawberry dragon, and I loved the idea of it, and I wanted something to do whilst I was listening to audiobooks, and I needed something to do with my hands. So I do other things like colouring and drawing. I try to draw, but nothing ever really stuck for any length of time. And this is one thing that I found that I really love to do while I listen to audiobooks. So that's when I started, and it's all thanks to Siobhan, because they helped me navigate an introduction to the best things to try and learn how to do, and different stitches and those kinds of things. So shout out to Siobhan for that. That's not leading to my second question. So how did I learn to crochet? How did you learn to crochet? I learned through watching a lot of YouTube, basically, and asking Siobhan for advice. When you dive into the how-tos on YouTube, there are so many videos, so many resources. As a person who has ADHD, it can be very overwhelming. So when I felt a bit overwhelmed with all the different things that people were saying, I just asked Siobhan. They sort of like helped me through the vastness of the crochet world. Why did you start this channel? So I started this channel because I wanted to share my various different creations. I've set up other socials as well that I will link down below, and I would like to sell some of my items. I do also have a full-time job. I don't think this is ever going to be a full-time job for me. I also, like I said, I also make bookish content. I just like to create content, and I just thought that I really got into watching other creators. I've watched Passionate Kelsey now, since I got into actually interested in crochet, so since last year. And then I found so many other creators. I wanted to be part of the community, so I thought, why not share things with you? Because I do like to chat. Question before, what are some fun and unique things that you could bring to the community? I don't know. I don't know why I wrote this question. I just think that everyone has their own way of doing things, don't they? I think everyone has something to bring to the community, different personalities. I'm very scatterbrained. So if you don't mind watching someone who's a little bit scatterbrained, goes off track and literally is just the definition of like, ooh, squirrel, then that might be something fun to watch. I don't know if I'll be doing any or many like tutorials and things like that. This is just gonna be a fun sort of like follow someone who has a full-time job and crochets as a hobby and has fallen into a deep crochet hole at the age of 37. So maybe you'd like to see that. If you would, then feel free to subscribe because I would love to have you over here in my little community. Question number 5, what are you most excited for about this channel? I'm excited to just share my newfound love of like fibre arts in general. There's certain things that I've sort of come across, I've come across knitting since I started crocheting, and I'm in no way, shape or form saying that I'm going to be able to knit. I haven't tried it yet, but I did buy some knitting needles. And I'm excited to just test out different things, like see what works, see what doesn't. I want to do some sort of like yarn review videos because I've never really done anything like that. And as someone who likes to create content, it's something different for me as well. So a lot of my bookish videos are basically just vlogs. I used to do a lot of wrap-ups and sort of TBR videos. This gives me the option to be a little bit more creative with like the different types of videos I do. Like I said, like yarn review videos and how many of so-and-so can I make in a day. Question number 6. Sorry, I'm looking down here because I've written the questions on my phone. So what do you love about crochet? I love that you can make practically anything. I have seen so many different things being made. Cushions, so like decorations for your house. Obviously, there's tapestry crochet, which I'm a little bit nervous about venturing into, but I might try that at some point. You can make blankets, clothing, little toys, so many different things. It's a whole world in itself, isn't it? I do also like the variety of if I want to have a bit of a mindless project and I don't want to do a lot of thinking and I just want to be able to sit down and do something with my hands while I listen to an epic fantasy or do something with my hands while I'm, I don't know, watching TV or whatever, then there is an option for that. But if I want something that's a bit more detailed and takes a bit more focus and has a lot of counting and stuff to create something a bit more intricate, then that is also an option. And I like, the variety basically. That's a long way of me saying variety, but also can you tell that I love to yap? This might be a problem. I need to cut some of this down. Number 7, what things don't you like about crochet? I don't like the pain. There are certain, like, I don't think I have the right setup, to be honest. I used to see that people use like crochet cushions and stuff, and my posture is bad anyway, but I find myself like hunching over quite a lot, and I have to force myself to sort of not do that. And I was doing a really big project. Well, I say really big for me, which was the summer blanket for the Sadar Crochet Along. And when you were like sewing all those or like stitching all those things together, like the weight of that, like, yeah, I didn't really think of the pain aspect, and then it sort of impedes your ability to be able to do what you love to do. So it's the pain and like forcing myself to take a break when I need to, because when I really want to do something, that just the thought just encompasses my whole brain. Like if I really want to make something, I need to make it there and then. And if I'm in pain with my hands on my shoulder, and it's mostly my left shoulder, then I can't do that, and it really annoys me. So that's probably one thing I don't like. That is probably the only thing I don't like is the pain. Maybe maybe the length of time that some of these things take. I want to be able to just see the fruits of my labour quite quickly. And sometimes I'm just like, actually no. So what I tend to do is when I've got a longer project like a blanket, I'll just make something small as well. Like I made a little panda the other day for the first time, and I'll do something really quick just so that I get that rush of like, I've finished a project when one's taken a bit longer. Number 8, what items are on your to-do list? What items are not on my to-do list? That would be the better question. And again, I wrote these questions, so I don't know why I wrote that. So first up, obviously, we're finishing the Sadar Crochet Along blanket. And should we go into my Notion? Because Notion has been something that it's been a lifesaver for me. I've got a project ideas page on Notion. So we've got Skazoo plushes, because I've made little Skazoo bag charms for me and my friends when we went to see Stray Kids, and I want to use that same pattern with some chenille yarn and make some plushes. I've seen some really cute glasses holders that you can make, they're cute. I want to make a derpy from K-pop hunters, but I want to very ambitiously make my own pattern. I'm well aware that there are patterns out there, but I want to push myself and see if it's something that I can actually do from the knowledge that I've gained. And derpy is just a tiger in it, so I know how to do a tiger, but I need to derpify him, so we'll see. There's a panda. So I already made a panda, but it was my very first one, and I have made some mistakes. One of my closest friends, I call her Panda. I want to make her a panda. I want to be able to make a bunch of flowers. I want to, outside, that's great. I will keep my garden sorted outside. I like looking out and seeing my pretty flowers. So I will tend to my garden outside. I don't really like flowers inside the house. I don't know why. It's just not something So I think if I could crochet a bunch of flowers and put them in a nice vase, that would be brilliant. I want to do that. I also want to make a crossbody bag. I've seen some various patterns, and I don't know if it's going to be a granny stitch one, but I also want to make some granny stitch book sleeves, and also other types of book sleeves. I want to make some Kindle sleeves. I want to make a granny square bag. But I do also have some various blankets that I want to make. So I need to make a beanie hat for one of my friends for Christmas. I need to make some various amigurumi, like a whale or a shark for one of my friends. And I need to try and find something Critical Role related that I can find a pattern for. And not the Demigorgon, because she already has a Demigorgon one, but I want to make, these are Christmas presents I want to make. And I also... Can you tell me so many things I do? I want to make the Christmas 2024 Sadar Crochet Along blanket because I think it's so cute. And I also want to potentially do the Christmas 2025 one. There's a Summer Blossom Crochet Along by Sadar that I want to do with those specific colours. Those are just a few and I have them all, not that you can see. I have everything I'm doing or want to do written down in a little... Next question is what's your favourite thing you've crocheted? So I would probably say my favourite thing that I've crocheted so far is my virus shawl, I think, potentially. Just because it was my first thing that I've made that wasn't just a basic stitch. So I've made a couple of scarves. I made a whole granny stitch sort of shawl, cardigan thing. But it was literally just a granny square until you got to the size that you wanted. And this was my first time following a more difficult, intricate pattern. And it did take a while, but it's so pretty. I used I call it sheepies. I'm going to call it sheepies. I use sheepies yarn. I will leave a picture here. What questions would you ask your favourite creators? How do you do it? How do you crochet so fast? Because I've seen some crocheters, and there's a girl from Crochet Corner, and she literally just smashes out plushes so quickly. So what I made in a week, and fair enough, it is her job, and she's able to do it full time. But I think even if I did it full time, I don't think I'd be able to crochet as fast as these people do. And it absolutely baffles me. So how do you crochet so fast? And what challenges will be the hardest to overcome with your channel? and crochet in general, I think it will be comparing myself to other people. I do that a lot anyway, and I know that you shouldn't. And I do it with my other channel as well. Like, not comparing myself to other people when it comes to sort of following and things like that. The downside of social media is that as much as numbers aren't like the driving force for everything, it is still really nice to see like your numbers grow, if that makes sense. So I'm doing this for the fun of it, and sort of like reminding myself that I am literally just doing this because I enjoy sharing my love of a new found to me and a new to me craft. So yeah, that'll be not allowing the little brain goblins to affect me really. And where do I crochet? So I live by myself in a little bungalow. I mostly try and crochet on my sofa because I do have a condition with my legs where I need to elevate my legs. So I like to get comfy on the sofa and crochet. I sometimes crochet in bed. However, I have noticed that if I get too comfy in bed, I will literally just fall asleep. One thing that my parents used to laugh at me about, and probably they still do to be fair, is I can sleep anywhere when I'm comfy. As soon as I get comfy, there's something about my brain that's like, ooh, nap time, or ooh, sleepy time, and I can literally just fall asleep. So when I get into bed, sometimes I can only work on something if I'm just finishing off a project and then I need to weave in some ends or something and I want to do it quickly before I go to bed, then I'll crochet in bed. But mostly I try and crochet when I'm on the sofa, or I've got a desk in my bedroom and I might sometimes crochet there. What kind of items do you prefer to make? I prefer to make, at the moment, blankets and wearables, because those are the things that I've made the most of and I'm most comfortable with. I do want to try and make some more plushes. It's just that previously when I tried to make some plushes, I've made the bag charms, which have worked out quite well. I'm just very much a perfectionist, and when something looks even remotely wonky or remotely off, it really knocks my confidence. I'm gonna have a steeper learning curve when it comes to doing plushes and making and getting the right, getting them stuffed the right amount and those kinds of things. It's just more of a learning curve, I think, with plushes, and it makes me a little bit nervous. So I would say at the moment, blankets. The final thing is, what does your yarn collection look like? So I'm going to take you into my bedroom where I have done a massive clear out of some old crap. I'm a hoarder. So I was like hoarding really old, like expired makeup and stuff. And I've done a massive clear out just so I could fit some yarn and crafting stuff in my drawers. So after this, I'm gonna take you and show you my yarn that I've accrued literally over the past couple of months. I will say that it's not a massive yarn collection compared to some people's. I've seen like full yarn walls and stuff, but bear in mind, like, this isn't my full-time job, so I'm not gonna have like massive amounts of yarn, but I just want to show you what I've got. So I will insert that clip here. So this is my little cupboard, and it's not that full at the moment, she says. And then I have these full of my cotton yarn, and then in the top there's some little accessories, and this is the other side of my cabinet. Oh, and there's eyes in there, and then this is where I've started making some bandanas. This is DK yarn, and then my packaging supplies are up there with my spare phone for filming. And that's it really. That's all she wrote, as they say. I am looking forward to doing more things on this channel. I think getting this first video out is going to be the thing that sort of like gets me going. It's always starting things that makes me a little bit nervous. But you don't know unless you try, do you? So we'll see. I might get 2 people following me. I might get 22. I might get 2002. I don't know. But we shall see. If you do want to know anything else about me, then ask away. If you would like to watch me on my journey of finding out what I actually like to do crafting wise, because I've got other things that I want to try out. I want to try knitting, I want to try macrame. I also do cross stitch now and again, so you'll see me cross stitch. But if you'd like to follow me, then please feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you in my little crafty corner. And yeah, that's it from me. I don't know how regularly I'm going to post on here. I'm going to try and do at least a video a week. But like I said, I do have another channel that I also need to start working on again, because I've been in a book slump recently. So that's why I've ended up crocheting a lot more. So I am going to just try and post on each of my channels once a week to start with. And we'll just see where we go from there. And hopefully I can keep up with this. But yeah, thank you for joining me. I hope you learnt some more about me. And I will see you all very soon.